Hi Essex, and welcome to the English writing lesson today. This is the second lesson in the series where together we're writing a scientific report based upon the Woodlands project that you undertook in the school Woodlands last term. On Monday, it was really great to see some pictures of your writing, of your aim, and also those people who volunteered to share their aim by reading it on our Zoom meeting. That was really brilliant. So thank you very much to Lola and to Alexander. We really appreciate that. If you want some specific feedback on your writing, then your picture does need to be clear enough for me to see it. And an example would be where I was able to give some specific and helpful feedback to Katie's writing, because I could clearly see that element. So today we're continuing with the Learning Objective Writer scientific report, and you have all of the background information at hand. If we have a little look here. So we're on day 2 now, and so the idea is that we will communicate a scientific method. So a method is, in its simplest form, it's what did we do? What did we do? What did we use? And it's usually a very good scientific idea to say why you chose that method. And I know you were given the method, boys and girls, but if you can have a think about why that might have been a wise choice. And we'll have a little think about that later. So moving on. So remembering some of the key features. So your purpose is to communicate the outcome of your scientific project. Therefore, you need to be really clear and precise. Scientists do tend to have a way of writing, and I know I've done a fair amount of science writing in the past, and the markers tend to spend more time deleting some of my beautiful prose and with the prompt to, just get to the point. And that's really what scientists want, which is fine for us because it really helps think very clearly about the choices that you're making over the word choices, the vocabulary choices, the preciseness of that, and the forms of your sentence, and the use of punctuation to kind of add cohesion to your writing. We've got the audience. Remember that Mrs. Kitson will be very keen to read some of the final results. It's impersonal. You have to think really carefully because it's so easy, isn't it, to just slip into we, particularly we and I, and mention people's names. But the impersonal third person way of writing is the science way. It's almost depersonalizing it and focusing on what actually happened. What did you want to find out? What did you actually do? And you're going to write in the past tense. So this project has already been undertaken. You've planned it carefully. You've undertaken it using whatever method you chose, and now you're reporting on the outcomes. So scientific method used in the project. I think that would be a suitable subheading. You could modify it if you can think of something that you would prefer. And in this paragraph, you're sharing with the reader so what you did, in this instance in detail, why you did it, and what did you hope to achieve. And this is in detail. As well as how you undertook your study. And again, it's in detail. So you're going to have to think back to all of the steps you did over the few weeks. Now, it might be that with something like the Quadrat project, which started right at the beginning, you may have looked at your Quadrat for quite a few weeks. With the web, the ecological web, using the tree as a center, or maybe that interconnectedness using the string. Once you had done one lesson on introducing that method, you may have then revisited it one more time independently. So hopefully everyone's got a really clear idea of their method. Of course, the mapping people were using the trundle wheel, making notes, using maps, and recording significant information. So we're going to plan this as a single paragraph plan. And so each of the points represent key things that I want to include in my paragraph or paragraphs. So some of you may choose to write the method in more than one paragraph, which might mean you split up these points, or you might choose to carry on and do point 5, point 6, whatever you feel is going to really illuminate the method for your project. So point 1, I'm thinking what methods and scientific equipment and skills were used. Why were those choices made? What did the methods and equipment used help to achieve? How did or was the equipment used as the study was taken? So you might want to pause the video and reflect on those points. Thinking about your own project, how would you start to structure that? So here we have a reminder of the key things, the whats and the whys and the hows that I think are going to be relevant to putting into this particular paragraph, which is the method. And I've taken point 1, which was what methods and scientific equipment and skills we use. Now I had a little go at my first thought. So because this is a plan, there's a scope for me to kind of review this, change it, and even after I put it together, it will be a first draft. So there's plenty of opportunities for making revisions. So let's have a read. In order to locate and study fungi over a period of 6 weeks, the method selected was an ecological quadrant study. After locating the specific study site, a quadrat was set up and a detailed inventory of the quadrant site was made. Species, position, points of significant note. Careful biological drawings were made and taken back to the study centre. So having a look at that in a little bit more detail, I'm hoping that I haven't used the personal references of I and we. It sounded like I had been pretty successful at that, but maybe you can double check. I've mentioned that the method was applied over a few weeks. I've named the method. So when we were putting together the string and the sticks to make a four-sided shape, I'm calling that the ecological quadrant study. And then you went out and you found where you wanted to do it. So I'm calling that locating the specific study site. And this method is called quadrat. So this idea of an inventory, this is making notes, careful scientific notes, noting what's in that quadrant site. Species, even if you didn't know what the species were at the time, did you go back and have a look? You had some identification material for different fungi, for example. Where their position in the quadrat and relative to the outer environment compared to the key points, you know, the entry gate or a specific tree. And what did you specifically note? Maybe what it looked like. I know some of you nudged the fungi with a stick or your foot, and you could see what you thought were the spores being released. So that could be very significant. And the biological drawings are really careful representations of these living organisms and taken back to the study centre. In this case, that was the classroom. So pause, have a think about that, and just check through the features that I've used. How would you apply that to your study, and how would you continue? So pause the video and have a reflection. So in my model, I've chosen the marking of a quadrant, and we use that with the sticks and the string, as you can see the representation in the picture down here. But you need to write about your area of the project. So here I've got a little asterisk there, just to remind us actually. So I've chosen group B, which was about comparing and sketching, and a little bit of information that I've located through some just very short amount of research about this particular method. I think that's going to be particularly useful later about why did I select it. Really great, Year 6. Now you have made a plan, or you're about to make a plan, you can draft your method. The lesson, the English lesson is about 1 hour today. And then we'll meet again tomorrow, and we'll plan and draft the next section. In the meantime, when we meet on Zoom, it'd be really brilliant. Very much appreciated if some people could share their method outcomes from this lesson. Good luck with that. Do enjoy it. Think carefully about the vocabulary and the structure that you used, and I'll see you next time. Take care.